number 18, Mark Staal.
The point of when I realized I was in the NHL was starting lineup of my first game at the Massacre Garden. Skating on the ice was pretty incredible, and you kind of had to pinch yourself at the time. I had never been to New York prior to being drafted. Actually, I rode the subway to the game, which was a pretty unique experience in itself. So I was kind of got I'm a Ranger and in the NHL kind of all in the same shot. So it was a pretty cool experience.
Staal fake shoots, scores! Station got wiped out by Mark Staal. Mark Staal scores! Mark Staal winds up, he scores! It's a power play goal!
Yeah, being part of the Rangers and all their rich history and the original 16 has been amazing. And you walk into MSG or even the training facility, and it's just a very proud organization.
Mark Staal just keeps getting better and better.
It was pretty intense. It's a far cry from the place I grew up, obviously. Hey, this is Mark Staal. Welcome to my hometown of Thunder Bay, Ontario. I'm excited to show you guys around today and show you where it all began for me. Thunder Bay is pretty unique in that it's probably a 6-7 hour drive to the nearest city that's close to its size, and we're kind of our own little community that supports each other.
It's a very close town. You always meet somebody who knows your mom, or they know your dad, or they know other family or friends. So a lot of people here are connected in those kind of ways, but it's a very friendly town. It's a great place to grow up and a great place to come back in the summers.
They're all hardworking and very respectful and friendly. So obviously the more years we play in NHL, the more years we're on TV and things like that, our people here seem to recognize us a lot more. But everyone here is very respectful of your space. They're very relaxed that way, which is makes it a lot easier just to go around town and just to come back every summer, because we really enjoy it. We're pulling into my parents' house. This is where I grew up. Growing up with my family was a lot of fun. We obviously kept each other busy with me having 3 brothers and being out in the country. We had a lot to do and a lot of time outside.
Mark when he was growing up, he was pretty funny. He was kind of the clown of the family. I think he always making faces and trying to make everybody laugh. So he was a great kid to have around. We didn't have any furniture in our living room for a long time, or so they would use it as a knee hockey room. We had a rink out in the front of the yard, and then we moved it to the side of the yard, and after school they would run down the driveway and say, did you flood the rink, Mom or Dad? And then we say, yeah, it's all cleaned off, and they would get their skates on and they would just go, and they just loved every minute of it.
We first got into hockey, my dad played. Obviously he loved the game, loved to watch it. He basically just put us in skates when we were 4 or 5 years old, and kind of went from there. And growing up with 3 brothers doing the same thing, it was, I think, a big help for us. We didn't like to lose to each other. It kind of drove us to be better players. And yeah, we brought our competitive nature into everything we did. Play a game of pool or ping pong or anything. That gut feeling when you lose, especially to your brother, was never nice. The teams were always me, Jordan against Eric and Jared, and they get pretty heated. We never had any goalies, but we'd always play hit the post. It never came to fists or anything like that, but there were a few sticks being thrown when things weren't going each other's way. We always dreamt about playing in the NHL. I think at the time, obviously, you obviously can't guarantee anything, but in your mind, you're going to do it.
Eric Staal, shoot one, he scores!
Watching Eric go through and making it, that was incredible. Just made me want it more, and knowing that I've played with him and played against him, and kind of thinking like, he's not that good, and I could do that. So it was kind of like that, you know. I got in there at 16 and just try to play as much and try to be the best player on your team, and then just go from there. My first organized hockey was when I was 15. I got drafted to Sudbury in the junior league in the OHL.
Mark Staal has to play it. Nice rush there by Akeem Alou. Boy, when he gets ahead of steam, not too many people are going to stop him. Speaking of a good head of steam, here's Staal. Guts in front, score!
Kind of being thrown into, like, you know, a semi-professional league. You're still going to high school. You're getting paid $40 a week, but you're still, you know, you're playing in front of to 7,000 people, and it, you know, as soon as I got a taste of that when I was 16, you know, there was no looking back. I loved it. We're here at the pond in my backyard. My dad used to use this for irrigation for his fields, but in November it'd freeze up quick before my dad could get ice on our rink ready. So we would skate out here for about 2 or 3 weeks before our rink that he built us was up and running. So it actually worked out really well for us. We had a lot of good times out here. We always knew it was back there. We didn't know it froze as smooth and you know, as hard as it did that early. You know, we loved it. It was short-lived because the rink usually followed pretty quickly behind that, but we had a lot of good games out there.
So how does it feel to be a Staal then?
It's good. I mean, it really doesn't feel any different because we have been together for quite some time, but it's a good feeling knowing that.
Me and my wife, Lindsay, went to the same high school.
Our very first class in grade 9 was our class, and he actually sat across the table from me. So that's the first time I ever met him or laid eyes on him, I guess you could say. He was very shy. He didn't talk much. He was cute. Yeah, cute little guy with braces. We always kind of had that little high school crush on each other, but nothing really came of it. It wasn't until later on when we actually started going out and seeing each other.
A few years ago, just took her to Applebee's for a nice afternoon date.
Yeah, I was working at the college at the time, so I only had about an hour for lunch. So it was a very short date. It was good. It was nice. We just hit it off from there.
We've had a great 3 years from now. We're looking forward to married life. This is it. This is where I grew up, pretty much spending all my summers.
There's a lot of life lessons that are identical to laying sod and hockey.
They were pretty small when they were working. This is it. This is my dad and uncle's sod farm. They bought it off of my Opa, which is my dad's dad. Yeah, so a bit of a family business. And this is where I grew up, pretty much spending all my summers. So hard work and a lot of hours, cheap labor for my old man. So.
This is my dad Henry, and we're at his sod farm up in beautiful Thunder Bay. We caught him here hard at work. Laying sod is probably the worst. If you have a day like this where it's hot and you're just sweating and you have dirt and then it turns into mud, but you know, when you have a good group of guys and friends and stuff like that, it makes it a little bit more enjoyable.
There's a lot of life lessons that are identical to laying sod and hockey because it's all about hard work. You do what you have to do, and you learn how to work. You learn how to work with others. You learn how to take, as a boss, as a coach, same thing.
We basically all worked pretty much all summer growing up. We'd be doing different jobs a lot of the times, but most of the part we were after school. Mom would pick us up and right to work. Had a sandwich in the car and drop us off, wherever we were working at the time.
That's only if you didn't have hockey.
Only if it didn't hockey. If we had
Hockey usually.
That was a bonus. Here we are in the middle of a sod field in Thunder Bay, Ontario. Cutter's going on right now, and this is where it all began as far as working for me. Hasn't changed too much since I last put on my sod shoes. This is my Uncle Gary, my dad's brother, also owns the sod farm. He's one of my bosses growing up over here.
They were pretty small when they were working. Like they were probably, you guys were 9, 10 and you're hanging around, but by 12 years old, come on, they're old enough to
Doing everything.
Yeah, you might want to not put that in there, but they were laying sod at 10 years old. I don't know, he never complained, he was good. He had long arms too, so if you're laying sod, you can kind of reach from one end to the other. He had the body for it.
Yeah, had a sod laying body.
He did. We lost another guy to hockey.
Yeah.
We'd had a big company right away.
That right there is the exact same tractor that I went in when I was 7, 8 years old. Hasn't changed much. Same forklift too, actually, that I used. Knocked over a few pallets with that thing. Yeah, I quit as soon as I signed my first
NHL contract. Same with Eric. They were allowed to.
I worked that summer. Yeah, I mowed.
I think he did.
I just mowed. I sat on the tractor, but I mean, I'm
Until
still
you went
there.
to New York, you were Hollywood mower.
Until I signed. That's why we are where we are.
That's right.
It's all because of sod. Yes. Everything we have now is because of sod. My draft year was the lockout year, so we weren't even sure if there was going to be a draft.
So it was a lot different than the previous ones.
Silent too. The whole room was just dead silent.
Yeah, you could hear a pin drop.
I knew I was going to get drafted, so I wasn't that nervous of when. I didn't really care when I went. My agent told me that he couldn't see me slipping past the top 3, I think he said, or maybe top 4. Got down to about 8 or 9. I looked at him, started shaking my head. He was not happy, but it was kind of more funny than anything. When New York traded up, I had a feeling that they were going to take me. I was thrilled to, when they called my name, obviously, and got up there on stage and put the jersey over my head. It was a pretty incredible feeling. My mom was probably the most nervous and frightened about the whole thing.
When I heard that Mark got drafted to New York, I was pretty much sick to my stomach. Anywhere but New York, I thought. New York's a big city, and coming from Thunder Bay, we don't have any subways, we don't, not too many high-risers, and it's 100,000 people, and then you're going to, I don't even know, 8 million or whatever. So I thought that was just a little bit too much for an 18-year-old.
But after she visited the city and saw where I was living, and I know she got a lot more comfortable with it. She loves coming to visit now.
Being chased by number 11, Jordan Staal.
Seeing my brother across the ice makes it more personal. You never want to get beat by your brother.
I don't like it very much. They always try to prove to the other one who's better.
Being chased by number 11, Jordan Staal. Mark Staal has the puck.
Move against his brother Mark. Oh!
Seeing my brother across the ice makes it definitely a lot more personal. It always adds another element to the game where you never want to get beat by your brother, especially one-on-one or something like that. It's always a lot of fun. I always get really excited to play. Nothing else like it during an NHL game to be going up against your brother, and it never gets old.
When I watch the brothers play against each other, my sons, I don't really like it very much. If they're not on the ice at the same time, I'm okay with it. But they always try so much harder against each other, and I always think that, then they might end up hurting each other because they're just trying so hard to prove to the other one who's better.
I'm just glad we're in the same conference, so we get to play each other, more times than once or none.
Used his strength against the younger brother.
Round 1 to Mark Staal.
It's always a lot of fun. It's not fun when you're losing, but it's fun when you're winning. We're at my school where I grew up, Thunder Bay Christian. Went here from kindergarten to grade 8. Show you around. We had about 30 kids in our class. It was a great place to go to school. I had Mrs. Hyman in grade 6, I believe. She taught all 4 of us coming in through here, and she was a tough teacher, but she made sure that you got your work done and you got it done on time.
Mark was always a very good student. He definitely enjoyed his friends and enjoyed the social part of school. Although he was in a very, very chatty class, they liked to talk a lot. They needed to be reminded often that they needed to get back to their work.
Yeah.
His parents always made sure that school was priority.
I remember my hook was around here, because this is the kindergarten class. You're only allowed 1, or maybe 2 if you're lucky, so which is not that much when you have a jacket and snow pants. They would actually let us bring our own sticks from home, and we'd be able to play hockey out on the street during the winter, which was kind of rare for schools to let your students bring hockey sticks into the playground.
There was always a pecking order. Certain classes got to have the certain prime spots, and when you got to grade 8, you got to have the driveway, and that was big.
Yeah, the nets were big. The games were always good, never long enough, but we had some pretty good games, so it was past the time, yeah. those little desks. I had a tough time fitting in them. I think I was always a little tall. It's Jordan, right here. Big mouthful of braces. Jordan, in the back.
All the boys fed off of each other. I think that they challenged each other to their competition. I always sensed that there was a camaraderie between the boys. They definitely loved hockey. But I don't think that back then at grade 6 I ever hoped or thought that any of the boys would aspire to the NHL. I always remember telling every one of those early classes, especially your classes, that now remember, only less than 1% of boys will make it to the NHL, so you need to make sure that you're concentrating on your school and on your education. Never did I know back then. I had to eat my words after that, since one after another you boys were making it into the NHL.
He scores! Shoot one, he scores! Staal finds a way!
Our school has always tried to be one that is really community and parent oriented. The parents and the teachers work together for the students.
The school teaches you values. It was huge for us to learn those things growing up and take them into what we do now. We're here right in front of a nice outdoor rink. Me and my brothers donated it a few years ago. There used to be one back there that kind of got run down, and they didn't have one for a long time. And we thought it'd be a pretty cool idea to build another one. It doesn't really look too much like a hockey rink right now. It's a little overgrown, but winter comes and either the snow will kill all those plants or they'll mow it down before it gets cold. Hockey at recess or hockey anytime is a big part of our lives, and hopefully they get to enjoy it for a lot of years. This is where me and my brothers all grew up playing.
Having Mark on the team really was a plus. He was very quiet. Lots of times I didn't know if he was still breathing. I had to check.
The fans are great, die-hard fans. Some hockey markets aren't as big and the care isn't as deep. You can tell right away when you get into Madison Square Garden that their fans live and breathe the Rangers. That's a lot of fun to be part of. This is the Norwest Arena where me and my brothers all grew up playing. As you can see by the new sign they got. Stop by, see the old place. I'm here with my coach from 12th AA, Dave McLeod, and reminisce on my old stomping grounds.
Having Mark on the team really was a plus. He was gifted, you could see, just by watching his ease of handling the puck. He was very quiet, soft-spoken boy. Lots of times I didn't know if he was still breathing. I had to check, especially if I left him on the bench too long.
Yeah, well, that pissed me off.
But you could see that he had all the potential to go all the way.
Yeah, over the last 4 or 5 years, we've had 3 weeks of these skates and found them, pretty beneficial going into camp and into New York. Playing with guys that play with you and against you. Yeah, they're good skates, and do your best to get ready.
I know the years before, your summers were pretty much just relaxing, and training camp was to get into shape. But it's a little different now. You're putting in 3.5 months of hard work just to get yourself into training camp, and then go from there. But every player has to go through to stay at that level.
You have to continually work, continue to try to get better, and with that and the help of coaches and teammates to push you, will get you to become the best player that you can be. Yeah, to be named alternate captain was pretty special. I was never really told about it. I just kind of came in before a game and it was on my jersey, and it was pretty cool. Add some responsibility, but at the same time, it's nice to be counted on and to look at in that way. What makes a good leader, I think, is confidence. I think you have to have a lot of confidence in yourself and in the people around you. You lead by example and make sure that you're taking care of the guys around you, that you get a lot of respect that way, and you just kind of keep working hard, and hopefully they follow behind. Favorite part of the game is just the game itself, I think. For me, being a part of a team is a huge thing. I've always enjoyed having teammates and winning as a team. It has been a big part of why I love going to the rink. Yeah, being a part of the core, I guess, as they call it, is pretty cool. We're all going to be here hopefully for the next 3 or 4 years at least, and with that comes a lot of responsibility, and we know that we're expected to win, and that we want to win. We're excited going forward. We know there's obviously a lot of pressure as well, but we're just going to try to do our best to keep the winning ways in the Rangers organization. I try to concentrate at my end first, make sure I do my job at my end, make sure I'm shutting guys down and being physical.
And another hit by Staal.
Look at Staal with the stick right there. What a play by Mark Staal.
I'm still relatively young, and I want to just keep trying to improve as a player as best I can every year.
I'm very quiet in everything I do, but when he's out there, I'd like to put a big sign on, I coached him. You feel like it, you think you're just so proud. And when I watch him, even when he, doesn't do very good out there, I still think he's the best. He runs the blue line with just total control. When he has the puck, he knows exactly what he's going to do with it before he even gets to it.
Sure, I would like to think that I might have played a little part in who they are today, but really I think that it's been their parents. Mark's parents really kept them grounded, kept them remembering what was important in their lives, their faith, their family, and of course hard work.
Huge hit there by Staal.
Well, he's definitely grown into himself. He's become a very caring person, especially being thrown into the limelight when you're 16 years old and moving away from town. He is very mature and very independent. He's a very independent person.
I'm most proud of Mark for just being down to earth. He doesn't portray himself as being the best out there, and he just stays true to himself, and he's just a humble young man. I think he loves it. He says he enjoys every bit of it, and I think he's proud to put on the blue, red, and white.
I think we're excited. The ultimate goal is the Stanley Cup, and that's been my focus obviously since I've been a kid. We're just going to try to do our best to get that accomplished. MSG or even the training facility, and it's just a very proud organization.
Mark Staal just keeps getting better and better.
It was pretty intense. It's a far cry from the place I grew up, obviously.
Number 18, Mark Staal.
The point of when I realized I was in the NHL was starting lineup of my first game at the Massacre Garden. Skating on the ice was pretty incredible, and you kind of had to pinch yourself at the time. I had never been to New York prior to being drafted. Actually, I rode the subway to the game, which was a pretty unique experience in itself. So I was kind of got I'm a Ranger and in the NHL kind of all in the same shot. So it was a pretty cool experience.
Staal fake shoots, scores! Station got wiped out by Mark Staal. Mark Staal scores! Mark Staal winds up, he scores! It's a power play goal!
Yeah, being part of the Rangers and all their rich history and the original 16 has been amazing. And you walk into and the Thunder Bay is pretty unique in that it's probably a 6-7 hour drive to the nearest city that's close to its size, and we're kind of our own little community that supports each other.
It's a very close town. You always meet somebody who knows your mom, or they know your dad, or they know other family or friends. So a lot of people here are connected in those kind of ways, but it's a very friendly town. It's a great place to grow up and a great place to come back in the summers.
They're all hardworking and Hey, this is Mark Staal. Welcome to my hometown of Thunder Bay, Ontario. I'm excited to show you guys around today and show you where it all began for me.